What's up guys, this is Anime Crossover. I'm back with a new episode of What If Naruto Was the Red Flash Part 30. And if you did enjoy the video, please give this video a like, and if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more crossover fictions with the twist. Now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 5 Animated Earth's Adventures Through the Multiverse, Part 5 Let's Get Animated. Earth N52. A blue breach portal appeared in the midst of a city street, and Naruto emerged, clad in his ordinary attire, before skidding to a halt. The portal closed behind him, and although he would have to look around and inquire whether he was on the appropriate planet, Naruto knew the answer the moment he arrived. How? Whoa. Naruto said in wonder as he examined his hand, which was still his hand but active. There's also some very nice animation. Naruto went to a neighboring building and looked at himself in the mirror to find that his body and face were still there and that he was still alive and healthy, but he was animated like a cartoon. Okay, this is kind of cool. The multiverse is certainly strange. He started dancing about and even shot photographs to document the occasion when he heard a tremendous rumbling followed by an explosion and loud screeches that seemed at first like an army of strange creatures. This was followed by what seemed to be hundreds of winged creatures soaring across the air. What the hell? Naruto put on his goggles, and they zoomed in on the creatures in the distance, revealing large 7-foot-tall gold-armored monsters with sharp claws and teeth, glowing green veins around their bodies, large bat-like wings on their backs, and what appeared to be the Omega symbol on their chests. Gideon, do you have any idea what those are? His goggles scanned the animals and started a rudimentary examination of their look and armor. Based on their design, energy output, and my archives, they appear to be parademons from the planet known as Apokolips, Gideon said, pulling up her archived data on parademons from her future. Genetically engineered beings designed and programmed to be loyal soldiers for their leader. Dangerous, lethal, and their arrival on this planet would indicate an invasion from the planet Apokolips. Naruto inquired, can they be killed? Yes. While they were designed as soldiers, they are not beyond destruction, but I would advise caution. Parademons swarm their target and their arrival would suggest the later arrival of a being known as Darkseid. Gideon displayed an image of a giant gray-skinned alien in blue armor with the same Omega symbol on his belt, and he was both huge and intimating. He is someone with whom even you and the greatest heroes on your planet will have to deal in the future. Great, facing an alternate version of a big boss and his army, Naruto said as he saw the parademons spreading like a plague and abducting people. Those people are in danger. Gideon, keep me updated and check this city's database to see if there are any other heroes or, at the very least, if there is a Flash on this planet. Gideon started hacking into surrounding systems until she was uploaded and began searching, while Naruto flew off at super speed, which appeared odd on this world since it was animated. He seemed to have a hazy trail behind him as he ran, which was most likely this world's representation of his sprinting at super speed. His lightning path remained, so it remained the same. He kept his ring forward as his impulse suit blasted out, and he rapidly changed before dashing to the parademon source. When he arrived, he observed swarms of them emerging from a warehouse under construction, and they were like a plague of locusts, hundreds of them. It was a physical invasion. He ran over to stop the parademons from entering the city and capturing citizens who were still on the street. A group of 40 residents, including small children, ran down the street as quickly as they could to escape the flying monsters, but they were too slow. 3 parademons swooped down and seized a woman and her 2 children before whisking them away from the parademons' claws. They were also hurried away at breakneck speed before any of the other bystanders could be seized. The parademons were perplexed when something crashed into one of them with such force that it caved in the armor and killed it. Naruto arrived in the middle of the street, wearing his costume and wearing his goggles on his brow. When the parademons noticed him, they swarmed him, but he ran away and struck one in the face. Because he was driving so fast, his fist connected with the same power as a vehicle traveling at almost 300 miles per hour. He rushed around the parademons, dispatching them fast and effectively, then driving through the city, transporting everyone within a mile radius to the outside. He moved quickly and outtraced numerous parademons before dispatching them and evacuating more people. When he saw additional parademons floating into the sky, he activated his gauntlets and raced to their source, an abandoned warehouse, where he found a guy wearing a green and black glowing outfit and a green mask over his face. He held a green glowing mallet in one hand while conjuring a shield to block the parademons from exiting the warehouse. Everything he made appeared to come from the ring on his right hand, which was burning the brightest. When a parademon raced at him, He unsheathed his forearm sword and hacked off its head before sidestepping another, seizing its big arm, and tossing it into a parked vehicle. He then launched a repulsor blast at the automobile, forcing it to explode and bringing down the parademon as well. The glowing green guy used his ring to construct a large artillery cannon and blew a dozen parademons into bits, but the barrier surrounding the warehouse vanished as a result. A guy with the gray and black cowl of Batman, or at least this Earth's Batman, was battling a few parademons on the ground and stabbed it in the head with a batarang. Lantern, concentrate. Your constructs are fading. Your mind is scattered. Batman then evaded a parademon and shoved it aside, killing it with an explosive batarang. When a parademon crept up behind Lantern, he said, "Worry about yourself. You're the one without powers." Before it could devour his head, it hit him with a batarang, which exploded. Lantern immediately made another mallet and started whacking every parademon in his path. "We need to take a step back and regroup. There are too many of them to just barrel through," Batman advised. Lantern asked, smashing one parademon with his ring, "Oh, yeah? Tell that to Superman." This Earth's Superman was built like a wrestler and wore a dark blue outfit with a crimson cape, yet he had the distinctive red and yellow S logo on his chest. He was pounding parademons left and right before vaporizing a slew of them with his heat vision. He flew over and snatched up a freight truck when he spotted more approaching. "Come on. That's it, smile for me." He then plowed through hundreds of parademons with the pickup truck before hurling it into a bunch. He then used his heat vision to blow it apart. Before he could continue fighting, his enhanced hearing picked up a distress signal from the capital and learned that Air Force One was being attacked, so he took off. "And there goes our big gun. Fantastic," Lantern said as another wave of parademons assaulted him and Batman. That's when a red and silver blur flashed past, and parademon after parademon died, either by decapitation, knife to the chest, or several blows to the body. The blur came to a halt and started swinging his arm, creating a spinning vortex of air that knocked several parademons against the side of a building. When a swarm of them attempted to swarm him, he started racing in a circle and killed any parademon that came too near. He was basically a death spiral, and everything that came too near was devoured. Batman and Green Lantern watched as the racing blur easily dispatched over 100 parademons in a minute. The blur then slowed and thrust out his arm, causing a bolt of white and red illumination to strike a clump of parademons. They were electrocuted and thrown to the ground with Batman and the Green Lantern. They got their first good glimpse at him when the racing blur stopped moving. He wore a crimson, silver, and black costume with spiked blonde hair and goggles on his brow. He wore a mask with little lightning bolts between his ears, a belt with numerous pockets, and armored gauntlets on his hands, one of which had a bloodied blade protruding from the forearm and a lightning bolt sign surrounded by a gear icon. Green Lantern inquired of Batman, "Is he with you?" As Naruto turned to face them, Batman said, "I was about to ask you the same question. Not someone you'd recognize, and I'm not from around here. It's a long story, but my name is Impulse, superhero speedster, and I'm here to help," he said. "Perhaps we can save the questions and answers for after we've dealt with the parademons." "Sounds like a plan to me. Keep up, kid." Green Lantern powered up and soared into the skies as Batman shot a grappling hook into a skyscraper while supersonic after them. Impulse stayed on the ground, speeding across the city at Mach 1 and immersing parademon after parademon in the sensation of being struck by something going at 800 miles per hour. That included bringing any trapped individuals to safety. Green Lantern remained suspended in the air, blasting or crushing parademons with his ring, using either energy blasts or mallet creations. When one came at him, he crushed him with a spiked wall build before constructing a minigun and mowing down hundreds. When 3 more parademons fell down, Batman flipped through the air and booted another one back. As he backed away, Batman prepared himself by reaching inside his belt and kicking one of the parademons in the head. He leapt and hit a right cross to the face, followed by a knee that pushed it back. Batman slipped beneath its arm and punched it in the back as the second one swiped at him but missed. The third parademon raised his mouth and spit fire, but Batman's spin kicked it in the face, causing it to burn the other 2 parademons instead. He ended with a leaping kick, redirecting the parademon's fire breath into its skull. It struggled away before collapsing on the ground. Another parademon appeared, but it was driven over by Green Lantern's pickup truck build. Green Lantern floated down next to them, followed by Impulse. That wasn't so difficult, they thought as they heard another huge explosion and more parademons swarmed out of a structure. Lantern just smirked as a parademon landed behind him. But before it could strike, A blur rushed by it twice before landing 16 jabs to the chest and an uppercut, knocking it out. This planet's version of the Flash had a red and yellow costume with a lightning bolt emblem. "Looks like you could use a helping hand," Flash said. "Flash, my boy. Good to see you," Lantern said, shaking his hand and starting a strange handshake. Granted, Flash didn't know what to do, so it was more for the benefit of Lantern. "Oh, yeah, and there's Batman." "Batman's real," Flash said as he raced up to Batman, who was repairing his grappling hook. "It is a real honor to meet you, sir." "Batman, Sir Batman, sir." As Lantern approached, Flash extended his hand for a handshake. "Don't bother, he's a total jerk." As Batman shook his hand, he was proved incorrect. "I've been watching your work in Central City, Flash, and you do tight, efficient work." All the Flash could do was grin at Batman's comment, which was like being embraced by a superstar. "Hey, Barry, you've got a little something on your nose," Lantern hissed, and Flash scowled back. That's when he saw Naruto and the lightning bolt on his outfit. "Oh, that's Impulse, a speedster just like you. I had no idea there was another speedster like me out there. It's nice to meet you, but the lightning bolt symbol is kind of my thing," Flash said to Naruto. "Yeah, I get that, but I've made it my own." Naruto pointed to the gear symbol he had surrounding it, and his lightning bolt was a bit different. "And you haven't heard of me because I'm not from around here. It's a little complicated, but how familiar are you with the Speed Force?" "Pretty familiar, and so are you, given that you know it's the Speed Force that gives us our powers," Flash said. "Yup. Are you aware of our ability to vibrate at certain vibrational frequencies so that we can jump from one Earth to another?" Naruto said, and Flash nodded. "Oh, I get it. You're from another planet. I've been in a situation like that before, but how do I know you're not an evil speedster?" "I've run into one of those before," Flash said. "Because I assisted the Green Guy and Batman in stopping the Parademons and saving a lot of civilians, and an evil speedster wouldn't be as pleasant as I am," Naruto said. "I'm sorry to interrupt your little speedster conversation, but what are you guys talking about?" Lantern inquired. "It's complicated," said Flash and Naruto at the same moment. "Get ready, here they come," Batman said as another wave of Parademons descended and landed on the Earth. "For the sake of Darkseid, ha!" Before any of them could begin fighting, a lady wearing a blue, silver, and red leotard and wielding a sword and lasso soared down and slammed into the midst of the Parademons. She dashed out and brought down one Parademon with an elbow and then a super strength punch to the face while leaping back from another's claw swipe. She drew her lasso and wrapped it around the Parademon's neck before tossing it against the side of a building. "Holy!" murmured Flash. "Crap," Naruto continued. As more Parademons raced at her, she just tugged the lassoed Parademon into the throng before striking at them with her sword. She stabbed one across the chest, then another's leg, before springing on its back and slamming her blade into its skull. To dodge another Parademon, she flipped into the air and bisected it at the waist, showering some of its green blood over her hands. She turned to face the others after dispatching the final Parademon with her sword raised. Wonder Woman was here. "Greetings, warriors," Lantern muttered as he swooped up to her. "Dibs. Hi." Before Lantern could say anything further, Superman appeared in front of him and gave him a look that screamed, "Back off." Wonder Woman thrust her blade into the earth and wrapped her lasso around her waist. "Ah, it's good to be back in the thick of things," she commented as the Parademons flew away. Lantern bragged, "Yeah, you better run." "No, they're gathering, waiting for whoever's behind this to launch the attack," Batman said. "Alright, so now what?" Superman inquired. "I'm not sure," Batman said. "Perhaps I can help," Naruto said as he went closer. "I may have some information that will be useful." "And who are you?" Superman inquired, prompting Naruto to remove his mask so they could see his true face. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, but I go by Impulse when I'm in costume, and I'm from Central City, or more precisely, Central City in another dimension," Naruto revealed, drawing confused stares from Green Lantern. "Yeah, you've lost me there, kid. He claims to be a speedster who has traveled here from another Earth in the multiverse, and that he was able to create a wormhole through the barrier that separates our dimensions," Batman continued. "Score 1 for the world's greatest detective, and Batman is telling the truth. I'm not from this Earth, but it's similar to this one. I have a Batman on my Earth whom I've met, and I work with the Flash of my Central City." Naruto pressed a button on his gauntlet, projecting a holographic photo of himself and Barry in costume, as well as him and his Earth's Batman. "Okay, I'm starting to believe the story," Superman said. Why have you come here, then? Wonder Woman inquired. It wasn't really planned. An accident knocked me off my Earth, and I've been trying to get back home ever since. I ended up here on the way, and that's when the Parademons started to invade. They're genetically engineered mindless soldiers, and if they're here, Apokolips is invading Earth. Naruto explained when he saw something flying towards them, but it wasn't a parademon. What in the hell is that? The others turned to see what he had done. Incoming. Lantern lifted his ring in anticipation as whatever was flying towards them landed on the roadway. Naruto reapplied his mask, and everyone was ready to battle. They had no idea what they were staring at, but it had the same glowing veins as the parademons but was formed of metal. Mine, Wonder Woman said as she drew her sword and rushed. When Naruto observed a man's face co-joined with the metal armor, he realized that whatever metal guy had come was also human. Wonder Woman, please wait. As she attacked, Naruto's warning came too late, and the metal man ignited a laser in his right palm, blasting her into a vehicle. Damn it. That's it, you're done. Superman's eyes started to flash red as the metal man's physique morphed to seem more human and slimmer than his prior enormous shape. Wait, he cried, I'm not with them. Hold on, Flash said as he stepped in front of Superman and halted his assault. I can attest to that, he worked at Star Labs. That's when they were joined by someone else, who was preceded by a thunderclap. The mystery guy was dressed in a red suit with a gold belt, forearm bracers, boots, and a lightning bolt insignia on his chest, as well as a white cloak and hoodie, and his body was charged with electricity. What's going on? Shazam! I'm with him, he said, motioning to the metal figure behind him. He's not here with me. And who the hell do you think you are, Mr. Roboto? Lantern inquired. It doesn't matter who I am. What I am aware of. Which is it? Batman was perplexed. I've spoken to their technology. I'm aware of their strategy. They are terraforming the planet. Things are about to get ugly. Batman remarked, that fits. How do you calculate? Lantern inquired. Well, for one thing, the water's on fire. Batman pointed to the ocean, and there was indeed a ring of fire around which the parademons seemed to flock. The fire swirled around in place before a large black metal tower appeared, and soon more towers began to sprout up around the city. The tops of the towers began to power up and began producing beams of light, attracting the parademons and the humans they kidnapped. What are they going to do with them? Superman was perplexed. I'm not sure, but I know this. They're not killing people. They're harvesting them, Batman reasoned. This is not an isolated incident, it's occurring all over the place, Flash continued. If it had to guess, the parademons went in search of new test subjects for more parademons. When you invade a new region, you take use of its resources, which in this instance are people. When they all felt a rumbling, Naruto stated, Apokolips is invading, which means it won't be long before their leader shows up. The tower above the ocean launched a beam into the sky, which was really a boom tube teleporter, and out-swarmed even more parademons. It's too late. He's here, Cyborg said. A massive extraterrestrial in black and blue armor arrived through the boom tube teleporter, with gray skin, red eyes, and the identical Omega emblem on his belt. Lantern speculated, I'm guessing that's the bad guy. Batman congratulated him on his lucky guess. He doesn't appear to be all that tough, Superman observed. I wouldn't dismiss him, Superman. If my information is correct, he's someone your doppelgangers on my planet have a lot of problem with. Naruto cautioned him when they saw F-16 fighter planes pass above, indicating that the military was about to launch an attack. The jets fired 3 missiles before flying past Darkseid for another attack run, but their missiles did nothing and Darkseid didn't seem to notice until his eyes glowed red and he shot out twin beams of red energy that zigzagged through the sky and destroyed the 3 jets like they were nothing. No. Mumbled Flash as Darkseid loomed above them with an army of parademons. I am Entropy, Death, and Darkseid. When Green Lantern went forward, everyone prepared to battle. Stand back and watch the light show. Green Lantern's got this. He rushed, hitting Darkseid in the face, but the construct split apart on impact, revealing that Lantern's willpower wasn't powerful enough to injure him. Darkseid merely punched Lantern away, sending him through a tree, through the side of a building, and to the ground, where 2 parademons pounced and beat the heck out of him. As the others raced at the heroes, Flash and Impulsal sped over and dispatched the 2 parademons. Superman used his heat vision to cut one in 2 before soaring into the air, while Shazam grabbed one and hurled it to the ground. When Batman raced forward and kicked another in the head, pushing it back before stabbing it with a batarang, Wonder Woman chopped it in half before wheeling around and decapitating another. Superman flew into the air, blasting Parademon after Parademon with his heat vision, until one grabbed him from behind, causing him to break free and knock its head off. Flash used super speed punches to knock out a Parademon before shoving another back, while Impulse zoomed across the area, taking out Parademons with his forearm blade. He slashed through Parademons while moving quickly enough to avoid being assaulted. Green Lantern was able to get back up to his knees. "That's all you got?" "Not all I got," he said as he soared towards Darkseid, conjuring forth a massive train that smashed against Darkseid and landed on the ground. Superman hit Darkseid twice in the face as his eyes flared and he was ready to blast Lantern. It appeared to provoke the gigantic alien, who retaliated by seizing Superman by the cape and hurling him through the earth. I'm not done with you yet." Lantern attacked again, smacking Darkseid with a massive mallet, but the construct splintered again. Darkseid squeezed Lantern's right arm, shattering it and forcing him to cry in anguish. He then flung his corpse aside as though it were trash. Wonder Woman used her sword to fight Darkseid, but it didn't pierce his armor. He hit her back, but Superman soared up and grabbed her before dropping her and rushing at Darkseid again. Shazam saw everything and flew down next to her. "Is that your boyfriend?" She said. "No, cool. Watch this. Hey, Blackheart the Death Eater or whatever your World of Warcraft name is, suck on this." Shazam launched a lightning bolt from his palm, but it didn't seem to do anything when it struck Darkseid. Darkseid unleashed his Omega Rays, which drove the lightning back and struck Shazam, knocking him to the ground. Darkseid quickly dispatched another of Batman, Cyborg, and Impulse's big hitters. They were losing this fight. "Now what?" Cyborg inquired. "Now you die." Darkseid's arms started to glow as he lifted them over his head. "Take cover." Impulse yelled as Darkseid smashed his fists into the earth, causing a massive explosion and energy shockwave. The energy released by the explosion was great enough to bring down several neighboring structures. Impulse bolted from the energy burst, dragging Batman and Cyborg with him to a safe distance. The destruction was severe, yet Darkseid stood in the midst of it all, a smug look on his face. Superman survived the explosion, and Flash huddled behind him for protection before the two flew at superhuman speeds to dodge Darkseid's Omega Rays. Both had a beam fixed on them, and although the Flash was able to block the Omega Ray with many automobiles and Parademons, Superman was not as fortunate and was struck. He wasn't killed, but the explosion knocked him unconscious, and a Parademon picked him up and whisked him away to the boom tube teleporter. Darkseid hung in the air and started assaulting the remainder of the city, his biggest danger trapped and the others supposedly dead. Impulse and Batman returned to the explosion scene, but Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern were still alive. He was concerned when the Flash reappeared. They flew away with him, and I saw them take Superman. "I'll get him." Lantern flew into the air, cradling his injured arm, towards the tower in the midst of the ocean, but his flight suggested he wasn't doing well. Surprisingly, Batman was the one who caught up with him and calmed him down. Everyone gathered and took a pause to ensure that they were not seriously harmed, and everyone was okay other than a few scratches and bruises. Lantern returned to them following his chat with Batman. "Are you okay?" "Good. Listen up. Ahem. We need to, play offense instead of all coming up to bat." Everyone gave him puzzled stares when he made the idea. What?" Flash inquired. "I'm sorry, but I don't know your games," Wonder Woman said. "I believe Lantern is saying it's time for some teamwork, so let's pull it together," Cyborg stated. "Yeah, baby. Clap it up," Shazam said, extending his hand for a collective huddle but receiving strange expressions instead. "What's the plan, then?" Flash inquired. "Well, he blasts those beams out of his eyes, doesn't he?" Lantern said. "Then we blind him," Wonder Woman said as she drew her blade with resolve. "That's as good a plan as any, yeah. We follow, and we stay out of sight. I'll turn on the fireworks to get his attention. Princess, you get in striking distance and stab that son of a bitch in the eyes." Lantern planned. She grinned as she said, "Like poor damned Oedipus." Shazam added, "Yeah, like the hot Greek chick said. And the invasion of monsters raining from the sky. What about them?" Flash questioned as Impulse considered the scenario and a potential solution in his brain. "Perhaps Cyborg and I can figure out a way to send them back," he said, tapping the computer on his gauntlet and instructing Gideon to link her system with Cyborg's. "I've synced my system with his, and since I'm a bit of a genius on my planet, we should be able to figure out how to send them back through the teleporters they're using. Lantern rose into the air, saying, "Good enough for me. All right, team, we've got this. We're going to get our asses kicked," Impulse said as he started off racing in the same direction as Lantern. Then came the Flash, and Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Shazam soared into the air. "How's your planet?" Flash inquired of Impulse. "How does the other me come across?" "Well, my Earth wasn't under alien invasion when I left, and I don't think there was really proof of aliens before I left, but I imagine it's not that different from this one except for one or two differences," he determined. "One less thing to be concerned about. As for the Flash on my planet, it's difficult to say. I believe you're a little older than the Flash on my planet, and considering how Lantern referred to you as Barry, your secret identity as Barry Allen is the same as mine." "Wow, you know who I am. We must be really good friends," Flash replied, only to observe Impulse's expression. "I'm not sure about the friends part. Things got really intense before I left, and trusts were broken. If we were friends before I left, we weren't when I left," Impulse said. "Oh, I'm still mad at him for what happened, but after what I've been through, it seems kind of petty to hold onto a grudge after what's happened." "Well, if he's anything like me, I think he regrets what happened. In my experience, life's too short to hold grudges. When you get home, talk to my doppelganger and work things out. Us speedsters have to stick together," Flash said as they approached Darkseid and his Parademons. He was still flying in the air, shooting his Omega beams at buildings and vaporizing them as terrified inhabitants fled. "We have got to get those people to safety." "Let's go," Impulse said as he and Flash sped up and transported the folks in the area away. Lantern, Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg would assault while they were getting the civilians out of harm's path. "Alright, as planned, I'll distract him, Darkseid." Shazam ran towards him at full speed, apparently forgetting about the plot entirely. "What is the—" Shazam flew towards Darkseid, channeling lightning into his hand, but before he could land a strike, Darkseid merely whirled around and caught him with his massive fist. He squeezed, prompting Shazam to scream in agony as he unintentionally released a lightning bolt that struck Cyborg. After clearing the way for the populace, Flash and Impulse rushed up the sides of buildings and leapt at Darkseid, punching and kicking him at breakneck speed before rushing away and repeating the process. They were collaborating to distract and keep him off balance. Lantern saw Flash and Impulse keeping Darkseid busy, which was a good thing since he wanted to strike but couldn't because Shazam was still in his hands. "Get that idiot out of there. His showboating is gonna ruin the entire plan." Wonder Woman agreed and flew towards Darkseid, stabbing at him with her sword. "Oh, great, I'm now Batman." Flash dashed over Darkseid's shoulder and hit him 30 times in the face before fleeing, while Impulse did the same but punched him in the belly. Darkseid used Shazam to knock them both onto the ground when Wonder Woman cut him across the chest. Lantern hurried up and struck Darkseid in the head with a mace construct before constructing a shield, which Darkseid punched through and slammed him back next to Shazam and Wonder Woman. "What's the big deal, I had him," said Shazam. When Cyborg shot a Parademon, Lantern reminded him, "Dude, you had squat." "Heads up, guys," Cyborg cautioned as he and Lantern proceeded to assist Flash and Impulse, who were still assaulting Darkseid. Before smashing Shazam into a wall, Wonder Woman wiped the blood off her lips. "You are a warrior, not a child, act accordingly." Shazam said, "Yes, ma'am. Now follow me to victory," she said as she flew towards him with her blade. Shazam murmured, "She digs me. Attack," said Wonder Woman, and the others followed suit. Darkseid hovered above the ocean, his parademons forming a protective circle around him before charging at the heroes, and he launched his Omega rays. They smacked Wonder Woman, but her bracers protected her and the force just pushed her back. While the others battled the parademons, Flash and Impulse slipped by them and headed for Darkseid. He unleashed another volley of Omega beams, but they split and fell into the sea, while the two speedsters raced around him, creating a massive water funnel. They were able to strike Darkseid from all sides with it offering cover and concealment before diving back into the funnel. The two slowed down, causing the water funnel to spray all over Darkseid before Impulse sent out a lightning bolt, electrocuting him, and judging by his facial expression, he was furious. He divided the two speedsters with his Omega beams while Shazam flew towards Darkseid, punching him 3 times in the face before being thrown back. When Cyborg flew by and blasted Shazam with his white noise cannon, he was thrown back into a building by Darkseid's Omega rays. Impulse also rushed by, blasting Repulsor Blast after Repulsor Blast to keep him off balance. That left him vulnerable to a massive explosion, which sent the Apokolipsian dictator crashing across the ocean. The cause of the explosion was a massive alien cruiser built by Green Lantern. "Hey, Darkseid, eat this." Lantern's alien battleship construct opened fire again, forcing Darkseid to fly at full speed and demolish the construct with his Omega rays before slamming Lantern into the ocean. Shazam delivered several blows before stepping out of the path as Wonder Woman cut him. As she slid over the river, Darkseid struck her in the back to keep her balance. "Come on, Giant, I'm getting bored," said Wonder Woman. Darkseid said, "This world is mine." Wonder Woman attacked, avoiding Darkseid's strikes before running up his arm and tying the lasso around his neck. As Wonder Woman positioned herself onto the back of Darkseid's neck and tightened the lasso to prevent him from moving, he attempted to get free. A pair of Omega beams were about to strike her, but her bracers deflected the energy before she could slam her blade into his right eye. Red energy burst from the wound, and Darkseid screamed in agony as a massive green submarine construct slammed into him and hurled him into the sky. Lantern emerged from the sea and hovered beside her. One down, one more to go. When Gideon beeped with an alarm, Impulse sprinted across the lake, knocking down Parademon after Parademon. "Naruto, I hacked into nearby satellites and used them and Cyborg's systems to analyze the energy coming from Darkseid and the towers. The source of the teleporters to Earth are devices known as mother boxes, which are creating the boom tubes that allow Darkseid and his army to arrive on Earth." "Good to know. Can you hack into them?" Naruto questioned, plunging his forearm blade into the brain of another Parademon before whirling around like a top and dispatching a slew of others. "Doing so would require all of my processing power as well as a significant amount of time, which I believe you do not have," Gideon said. "Connect with Cyborg. If he's merged with their technology, maybe the two of you can do something," he said as he dispatched a few more Parademons. Cyborg used his jetpack to fly about and destroy more Parademons with his white noise cannon before unfolding his rocket launchers and launching a volley. Gideon linked to his system while battling. "Good evening, Mr. Stone." Cyborg inquired, "Who are you?" "I am Gideon, an interactive artificial consciousness assisting Impulse, and I've managed to gain vital information that I believe could assist you and the others in dealing with the Apokolips army," she said, as Cyborg's systems started processing the data. Darkseid was enraged when Wonder Woman stabbed his eye out, and he demonstrated it by tackling her over many city streets and beating the living daylights out of her. Before Darkseid could strike, Flash managed to distract him. Lantern rescued Flash, and Shazam stopped Cyborg from blasting him. Impulse ran up to him and circled him, unleashing super speed punch after super speed punch all over his body, prompting Darkseid to scream in agony and rage. As Cyborg raced over to check on him, he smashed his fists into the ground and backhanded Impulse through a wall. Shazam struck Darkseid in the back with a lightning-infused double punch, causing him to howl in agony before elbowing Shazam through a building. That allowed Wonder Woman the opportunity to catch him off guard with a kick to the back of the head followed by an uppercut to the face. She slammed towards Darkseid, landing blow after punch to his gut as she pushed him through the structure they were in. Cyborg assisted Impulse in getting back to his feet while his super healing was working. When he saw Wonder Woman lift Darkseid into the air, he had a notion for how to remove the second eye. He just needed some time and space. "Lantern," Impulse said, capturing his attention. "Try to keep him still for a little longer. I have an idea. All I need from you is a ramp aimed directly at Darkseid." Lantern said, shooting another Parademon with his ring. "A ramp? What for?" "Trust me, it'll make sense when you see it," Impulse said as he struck a Parademon before fleeing the city to the east. While the rest fought Darkseid, Naruto set off racing east, not stopping until he was almost 800 miles from Metropolis in the midst of a lonely highway. He took a few long breaths before spinning around and assuming the Olympic running posture of a track star. "Gideon, make sure you tell Cyborg when I'm close so he can inform Green Lantern." "Roger that. Be careful, Naruto. Darkseid is powerful, and if you miss at top speed, it could result in serious injuries," Gideon warned. "Then I'm gonna need a little luck on my side. Speed Force, don't fail me now." He crouched down and prepped himself, taking several long breaths to decrease his pulse rate. His boots sunk into the pavement, and he put on his goggles, concentrated and in the zone for his mission, which may aid in the defeat of Darkseid. Crimson and white lightning flashed around his torso and eyes as he took a deep breath before taking off like a rocket. He created a massive shockwave that sounded like thunder as he sprinted 800 miles back to Metropolis at maximum speed of nearly 9,000 miles per hour. He'd be there in a matter of minutes. His concentration was on his mission, but if he or anybody else had been paying attention, they would have seen the accidental harm his speed did to the surrounding region. Moving at about 12 times the speed of sound creates shockwaves that break windows, set off vehicle alarms, and send trash cans, mailboxes, and other things flying. Others in Metropolis continued to combat Darkseid, with Wonder Woman successfully wrapping her lasso around his neck and tying him up while Lantern, Shazam, and Cyborg blasted him. To hold the Parademons at bay, Flash raced about and defeated them, and as more approached, Shazam unleashed a lightning field that knocked them down like flies. Cyborg continued to attack Darkseid with his white noise cannon before unleashing a torrent of missiles when his HUD saw Impulse approaching at 9,000 miles per hour and going right for Darkseid. Lantern, get that ramp ready. Impulse is coming in, and he's coming in fast, Cyborg said as he fired rockets into a swarm of Parademons. How quickly? Lantern inquired, continuing his assault on Darkseid. Over 9,000 miles per hour fast, Cyborg said. Everyone, stop Darkseid. Right. Lantern nodded and flew away, shooting more Parademons as he went. Shazam concentrated and conjured up a giant lightning ball, which he struck Darkseid with, and the energy hurt as well as kept him immobile for a while. Cyborg continued blasting Darkseid as Lantern quickly created a long and flat ramp on the street that led right to the Apokolips leader. The Parademons saw what he was doing and charged at him, so Flash kept them off of his back. Impulse raced up the ramp, channeling his Speed Force armor into his fists, and when he reached the top, he jumped at Darkseid, his Speed Force armor punch aimed right at his left eye. Despite his speed, Darkseid managed to catch his fist, and the impact shattered windows for a mile around and even caused some nearby buildings to shake. Young human. When Cyborg and Shazam shot Darkseid in the rear, the temporary attention was enough for Darkseid to loosen his hold, allowing Impulse to sprint up Darkseid's torso to his head. Drink this. He punched Darkseid in the eye with a Speed Force armor-infused speed punch, shattering the remaining eye but sending him into a rage. Naruto was knocked off, but Lantern made a bed construct to save him while Shazam blasted him with a powerful lightning bolt, sending Darkseid through a building and into the ground. Lantern inquired, "Did it work?" "Yeah, I believe it worked," Shazam said. They heard a huge rumbling and saw Darkseid emerge from the ruins and rubble. He climbed back to his feet after having both eyeballs blasted out, and his face was merely angry. And with no sight, he leapt straight towards Impulse and Green Lantern, and would have struck them if Wonder Woman hadn't intervened. As Darkseid walked about and attacked with rage, Flash and Shazam hurried over to aid her. "Guy's got both eyeballs blown out and he's still standing. Did we do anything?" Lantern inquired. "Yeah, we just irritated him," Impulse said as Lantern floated down to meet them on the ground. "Forget about taking him out. We need to send him back. Cyborg, any progress on that plan yet?" "We're still working on it," Cyborg said, launching another Parademon. "Well, work on it faster. We'll buy you some time." Lantern and Impulse assaulted several Parademons and Darkseid while Cyborg worked on examining and comprehending the mother box that his robot body had ingested when he initially transformed. It took some time for his system to break into and grasp the mother box's system and technology, but the knowledge Gideon was able to deduce aided in the process. After connecting, he built several boom tubes all around the Earth that the Parademons had utilized to infiltrate but were now being pulled back to Apokolips. One issue resolved, one to go. Darkseid was rushing after Flash with all four limbs like a dog, nearly catching up with him when Shazam shot him with lightning and threw him back. When the Omega sign on Shazam's belt lit, a boom tube opened up behind him, pulling in the remaining Parademons and tugging him in as well, but he battled the portal's attraction. "Get him in there," said Wonder Woman. Shazam sprang to his feet, energized his fists with lightning, and flew towards Darkseid, hitting a dual blow to the back of his neck. It sent lightning through his body, and despite the excruciating agony, Darkseid seized Shazam and smashed him into the ground before crushing him with his knee. "I'll crush you like an ant." Darkseid raised his arm to knock Shazam into the ground, but Wonder Woman's lasso coiled around it. To spare Shazam from a beating, she and Flash seized it and battled against his pull. "How dare you? My name is Darkseid." That's when a red and blue blur came out of the boom tube and knocked Darkseid back. Everyone could see that it was Superman who utilized a Parademon's armor to pass through the portal, exactly like Batman who followed him. I don't care. Superman swooped down on him and punched him in the face with tremendous strength and speed. Kick his ass, Lantern said as Superman uppercut him in the jaw and Darkseid snatched both of his hands. Superman pushed back and pulled the dictator to his knees before kneeing him in the face, gripping his face, and burning through both eyeballs with his heat vision. He then threw Darkseid closer to the vortex, as Flash and Impulse raced around him, landing a few speed punches before Shazam struck him with lightning. Lantern then blasted him with his ring for assistance, while Flash and Impulse emerged behind him and launched hundreds of speed punches to Darkseid's back, causing him to scream in anguish. Impulse immediately channeled his Speed Force armor once again and raced in front of Darkseid, landing an uppercut that pushed him back just as Superman and Wonder Woman launched at him and hit him in the neck. That pushed him closer to the boom tube, where Darkseid gripped the gateway to save himself from being drawn in as Superman and Wonder Woman punched him simultaneously. They drove him farther and deeper into the vortex while Cyborg sought to seal the boom tubes but lacked the necessary strength. This enabled Darkseid to push through the portal, punch Wonder Woman, Superman, and Shazam, and escape. Before removing his utility belt, Batman struck him in the neck with an exploding batarang. He pounced atop Darkseid, strapped the belt to his chest, and hit a button, activating the belt's boosters and pushing Darkseid back through the portal before leaping away. While it compelled him to return, the boosters quickly went out, and Darkseid crept back out of the portal. Darkseid knocked them all back when Superman attacked him in the face, Wonder Woman sliced him with her sword, Flash rushed past, and Green Lantern blasted him. Impulse then fired his two repulsors at Darkseid's face, causing him to stumble back before charging and landing another Speed Force armor punch to his chest, knocking him back, but Darkseid held on fast. Arg. Darkseid told him, "If I go, I will break your bones." Not gonna happen. Superman swooped down and smacked Darkseid in the face, rescuing Impulse and knocking him into the portal. Wonder Woman hurled her sword, Green Lantern fired an energy blast, Batman threw his final batarangs, Superman utilized his heat vision, and Impulse put out a lightning bolt that struck Darkseid together and really forced him back into the boom tube. Shazam! They exclaimed as a massive lightning bolt hit Shazam and Cyborg, providing the latter with enough power to seal the boom tubes. Before the gateway closed and Superman returned to Apokolips, he hit Darkseid one more time. As Naruto sank to his knees and inhaled a few agonizing breaths, everyone sighed a sigh of relief. Batman approached, extended his hand, and pulled him back to his feet. "Are you all right?" When they witnessed all of Darkseid's army's towers shatter into bits, Naruto comforted him, "Yeah, back should heal up soon enough." Cyborg then landed next to them, admiring their hard-fought win. "Nice job, kid. Where'd Shazam go?" Lantern inquired. "He took off, claiming to have a hot date," Cyborg responded. "Right. Who'd go out with that immature hothead?" Lantern jokingly said. "What about the human victims?" inquired Batman. "I can see them. Let me just get this baby to boom for me one more time." Cyborg's forehead illuminated, and many portals opened, releasing the captive humans. Green Lantern apprehended them and transported them to the city. "At the very least, he's good for cleaning," Batman observed. "How do we keep Darkseid from returning?" Cyborg told him, "All those mother boxes are fried. They won't be able to return anytime soon," Wonder Woman said. Batman said, "It's a start." As people approached them, Superman said, "Heads up. We should leave before they blame us again," Flash urged, but instead of yells and insults, they all received applause and overlapping gratitude. "What's your hurry, Flash?" Impulse inquired. "After a few days." Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Flash, Green Lantern, and Cyborg were summoned to the White House, where the president thanked them for their assistance in halting the alien invasion over the planet. The Capitol was packed with reporters, and it was good to see heroes who had previously been booed being recognized. He referred to them as a team of heroes, and although they were grateful, they weren't quite a team. However, Batman did point out that keeping the squad together for exposure was a smart idea to keep curious parties off their backs, and in the case that anything like this occurred again. Shazam then saw they were one short. "Hey, where's Impulse? And why isn't he here?" he inquired. "He had to go back home, and he left just as we arrived," Flash said. "He should be here. He helped us fight Darkseid and his army, and he deserves to bask in the glory," Wonder Woman said. "I told him that, but he said staying might be risky," Flash said. "He has a point. This isn't his Earth, and if he stayed, People would start asking questions, and things would get complicated if he met his doppelganger, Batman said. Well, the kid did all right by me, and he even gave you a run for your money, Flash, Lantern quipped, earning the Scarlet Speedster's scowl. At the very least, I would have liked to thank you, Superman said. He said it wasn't necessary, but he did leave us with a parting gift. Some pretty interesting designs and upgrades for all of us. He said he was a super genius on his Earth, and I think he might be right. Cyborg stated. He even suggested a name for the team, the Justice League. Justice League? Sounds like a softball team, Lantern observed. Then I like it, and it has a nice ring to it, Flash replied as they continued to listen to the president's address while Naruto had already gone and was making his way back home via the multiverse. XXXXX line break Earth A29. When a trio of rabbit-like cartoon siblings leapt out and music started to play, everything appeared to swirl around the Warner Brothers studio lot, particularly the Warner Brothers water tower. It's Animaniacs time, and we're zany to the max, so sit back and relax, you'll laugh until you pass out. We're Animaniacs. They started going about getting into trouble while singing, with the three tying a doctor to a chair and teasing him while he was watching television until he collapsed through the floor. Come join the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister. As we run around the Warner movie lot for fun. They lock us in the tower whenever we get caught, but we escape and now you know the plot. They ran around the parking lot, getting into mischief as a security officer after them. Despite being apprehended and sent to the tower, they escaped and resumed their wonderful adventures. We're Animaniacs. Dot is cute, and Yakko yaks. Wacko packs away the snacks, and we pay a lot of income tax. The three siblings made their appearance, along with other animated creatures and friends. Meet Pinky and the Brain, who want to rule the universe. Goodfeathers flock together, and Slappy whacks them with her purse. Buttons chases Mindy, while Rita sings a verse. The writers flipped, we have no script, so why bother to rehearse? We're Animaniacs, and we have pay-or-play contracts. We're zany to the max, and there's baloney in our slacks. We're Animani, totally insane why, and here's the show's name Why Animaniacs, those are the facts. The song finished with the three siblings back at the Warner Brothers lot when a portal opened and an animated Naruto appeared in his usual clothes. Wait, why does this all look familiar? Hello, handsome. Dot leapt up and landed in Naruto's arms, kissing him on the cheek. Do you come here frequently, stud muffin, or do you only appear in portals before girls you like? It's not exactly a normal thing. No, how are you talking? Naruto thought, finding it strange that these bunnies were talking, but this was animation. Oh, we can talk all the time. In fact, it's the best way to talk, Yakko said. Wacko approached Naruto and unzipped his bag, revealing one of his high-calorie energy bars, which he opened and was ready to consume when Naruto pulled it away. When Yakko leapt out and fell on his head, Naruto replied, "Whoa, you don't want to eat that. It's not for everyone. I know you're not from around here, but where are you from? How about I list off every country in the world and you stop me when I get close?" Yakko reached up and seemed to drag down a blue landscape with the nations of the world on it before a graduation hat appeared on his head. And now the nations of the world are presented to you by Yakko Warner, an announcer said as Yakko drew out a yardstick and music started playing. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominica, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, and El Salvador, he sang as Wacko and Dot danced. Okay, this is both funny and strange. I'm out of here, Naruto said as he rushed away and created another breach just as Yakko reached the European nations. Earth A47 Naruto landed on another cartoon world, but this one was a bit different. He emerged in an alleyway, and as he came out into the street, he identified himself by the town square and the gigantic mascot clutching a donut. Springfield in The Simpsons. Whoever created the multiverse must have liked TV. He was even animated like a Simpson character, with yellow skin and everything, to fit in, which was strange, and he wasn't sure whether it was disrespectful since he was Japanese American. That's when he saw Bart on his skateboard, Ned Flanders chatting to and psychologically draining Reverend Lovejoy, Barney Gumble drinking in Moe's Tavern with Mr. Burns, and Waylon Smithers going down the street. Marge Simpson was shopping at Apu's Quickie Mart with Lisa carrying Maggie and Homer stood nearby eating a donut. Well, since I'm here, I might as well try a donut, Naruto reasoned. Naruto went out from Lard Lad Donuts with 6 dozen donuts some 15 minutes later. After stopping at a Quickie Mart to grab some milk, He sat on a bench and ate his donuts while taking a little rest. And he had to admit that these animated donuts were delectable. Dough. He heard and saw Homer exclaim, most likely in reaction to anything Marge said. Awesome. Naruto mumbled as he ate another donut. He attempted to return home after eating his donuts and using the restroom. Earth A48 Naruto emerged in the midst of an animated suburban street that seemed extremely familiar. That's when he saw a yellow and green home across the street from a purple one, as well as a Spooner street sign. Family Guy. Awesome. Ooh, did I arrive for a musical number? He thought as he heard yelling emanating from the Griffin house and Stewie leapt out, but this Stewie was different. He wore reversed clothing colors and had an awful expression on his face. Stewie dashed out into the center of the street, where a lady in a vehicle came to a halt barely in time to escape striking him. Oh my god, a baby. Are you okay? She went out to check on him when Stewie pulled out a machete and slashed her in half from head to toe. He was covered in blood, and his body was on display, complete with bones, organs, and blood, with a very realistic odor. Stewie then got into her vehicle and left. Oh, my god. Oh, my god, that's horrible. Oh, it smells so real. I'm gonna be sick. Naruto knelt and barfed in classic Family Guy fashion. Oh my god. Naruto puked again and took a few seconds to himself before wiping his mouth. Oh, that's unusual for these cartoons. Dear God, why couldn't I have arrived at a more amusing time on the show, like when Peter is fighting the giant chicken? Everything changed around him, and the quality plummeted to animation in 1999. Peter was at the checkout desk, and a cashier was bringing up his purchases. Oh yeah, and this nice chicken outside gave me this coupon. He gave it to her so she could review it. I'm sorry, but this has expired. You son of a bitch, said Peter as he leapt through the shop window to attack the chicken. The two got into a heated argument that quickly escalated to a highway overpass, a moving vehicle, a helicopter, and an office building before ending with both Peter and Chicken falling to the earth with the chicken landing first to lessen Peter's hit. Peter went home victorious, unknowing that the chicken was still alive and a long-standing hatred had begun. Then everything returned to normal, and Naruto was back on the streets. Did I just set up a Family Guy cutaway? That's cool. Naruto then departed this world for another, Earth R17. Naruto landed on a new animated world that was distinct from the others. It was still animated, but unlike the others, this one featured black and white Disney vintage Steamboat Willie animation from the 1920s. Naruto came on a blank screen before words emerged, and he seemed to be in the cartoon's opener. Disney Cartoons presents a Mickey Mouse sound cartoon Steamboat Willie, it said. This is strange. That's when he saw that no actual words came out of his lips, but instead appeared as white writing on a black screen. He faintly recalled that the sole audio in these ancient cartoons came from the environment, animals, and music, rather than from the characters. He then arrived aboard the titular steamboat, where he spotted Mickey driving while humming a cheerful melody. He yanked a rope, and the horns on top exploded in a comical display, briefly coming to life. That's when a huge guy yanked Mickey away from the wheel and the two seemed to have a violent argument before the boat was driven to a pier and Mickey loaded a cow that was too lean so he gave it hay to rapidly plump it up. Minnie arrived at that point, but she missed the boat as it moved away, so she raced alongside it. Mickey was at a loss for words until he dragged the hook across to her and yanked her into the boat. The drama continued when Minnie's sheet music and violin were devoured by the goat on the boat. Mickey addressed the problem by opening the goat's mouth and cranking the tail, transforming the animal into a jukebox that started playing ragtime music. Mickey started singing along with the goat jukebox, which was both adorable and amusing. Naruto grinned as he crossed his arms and started dancing, but his lips just opened with no sounds coming out. Maybe this isn't so horrible after all. Seeing his words appear on screen causes his grin to fade into a scowl, as this was becoming tedious. But never mind. He opened another breach and fled, wanting to return to a more contemporary era, while Mickey and Minnie continued to have fun on the steamboat. Earth R19. While his next world was more current, it wasn't quite what he had hoped for since the animation was 1970s and not really professional, but it had an old throwback charm to it. Similar to a Hanna-Barbera animation. As numerous figures emerged on screen above the words Super Friends, music started to play. Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice are the most powerful forces of good ever assembled: Superman, Batman and Robin, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and the Wonder Twins, Zan and Jaina with their space monkey Gleek. dedicated to truth, justice, and peace for all mankind. When Naruto unexpectedly appeared over the title screen for the Super Friends, the characters were confused. And, apparently a new super friend to aid in their super endeavors, stuttered the announcer, but soon recovered. Okay, I said I was done with retro, Naruto remarked, racing away in Hanna-Barbera cartoon style before opening a breach. Never mind. The announcer corrected himself. Earth H01 The New World Naruto came on was probably the most recent animation he'd seen, but it was more cartoon-like, which was nice. He first emerged in the middle of a street in a war-torn Gotham that seemed to have been through hell. He strolled in front of an electronics shop display TV to check his reflection, and his animated self was very impressive, so he shot several selfies when the TVs started playing an emergency broadcast message. The president emerged from the Oval Office, carrying a message. My fellow Americans, it's been decades since Gotham City exemplified American prosperity, but 1 week ago, it reached a point of no return when the Joker seized control and instituted martial law. Last night, his base of operations, the Joker Tower, came crashing to the ground, triggering an 8.6 earthquake that leveled the city. Sadly, Gotham is beyond saving. He took a trip down the street after his earth-shattering statement and discovered it was actually horrible. The city had been wrecked, vehicles were burning in the streets, and he saw a dog and wolf battle over a human arm. Dear sir, is this some kind of animated cartoon? When he observed a pair of hyenas hauling a Joker cart along the street and Harley Quinn riding said Joker cart, he wondered. Honk, honk, motherfuckers, she used an air horn to yell. He decided to follow her since she appeared in the center of the street. He didn't know how, but he had a sense she was behind it all. Harley arrived to her hideaway, which was now half zoo and part abandoned mall. Home, dear home. Excellent work, my tiny baby drivers. I've got a treat for you. The two hyenas battled over a steak she thrown out. Bud and Lou no longer fight. There's one for every one of you, and I brought food for my large kids. She unlocked her cart to see a sushi chef gagged and bound in the trunk. Whoa, 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 whoa. Those creatures receive steak, and we're supposed to eat this guy. Do you live in a mall or a zoo? Dr. Psycho inquired. I'd like to think of it as both right now, King Shark said while caressing an alpaca. No, we're not going to eat him. Takashi here, a sushi chef. He has a Michelin star. King Shark grabbed him when Harley threw him over to the others. I have to admit, I was looking forward to eating a person, especially since I had already eaten sushi, but I guess it's fine. Come on in. King Shark carried him to the kitchen over his shoulder. Would it be impolite to ask for a spider roll, Takashi, or are you strictly omakase? As Harley approached Poison Ivy, Clayface puzzled. Are you not excited about sushi, Ive? Harley was perplexed. No, I mean, I appreciate Takashi's hand rolls just as much as the next gal, but don't you think it's time to call it a night? It's been 3 weeks since you defeated Joker. There is no such thing as the Legion of Doom. There will be no Batman. Gotham is yours to take, she made a suggestion. I'm having a great time. Ive, this is what I've always wanted. Sushi and anarchy. Harley blasted the air horn directly in his face. I mean, you could have had better sushi back when Gotham had refrigeration and free trade with the rest of America, but... Bletch. Could this be a bird? Clayface inquired, spitting up Takashi's hastily prepared bird sushi. Believe me, if you don't take responsibility, you'll be kicking yourself, Ivy informed her. Ive, the best thing about living in a post-apocalyptic wasteland is that no one is in charge. Woo! Harley sounded the air horn once again. It's a mess, sweetie. It's like, Nam when the US withdrew. Cy Borgman also contributed. I don't think it's exactly like that, but it's close. When two thugs in tux shirts strolled in, Harley pointed them out. Hey, you've landed in Penguin territory. Get the heck out of here, according to one goon. What the hell are you talking about? Harley inquired. Penguin called dibs on the mall. We've been hanging out at the mall for, like, forever. And who gets dibs? There is no first dibs. Idiot, the city is in ruins. It's the post-dibs era. Nobody has anything. Except for me, I own this shopping center, Harley yelled. Are you just making stuff up as you go? That's good to know, they said as Naruto entered the mall. Oh, that's terrific. What the heck is going on? Who the F***ck are you? Harley inquired. Geez, you've got a big mouth on you. Naruto remarked, obtaining his first glimpse of the world's Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Harley had light complexion and her hair was styled in 2 pigtails, one pink and one blue. She was wearing a Harley Quinn-inspired 2-piece top and bottom, a choker around her neck, shoes, knee-high socks, and a Harley Quinn-inspired 2-piece top and bottom. Poison Ivy was dressed more like a typical green-skinned lady wearing a green leather jacket and plant trousers than the attractive eco-terrorist he and Cisco had heard tales about. But you're in a little over your head. Hello, Jap head. We're already taking Penguin's position, so screw off before we. When one of the guys shoved Naruto with his crowbar, Naruto grabbed it and struck him across the face, causing blood to gush. Naruto grabbed the other gun's hand, twisted it to break his wrist, grabbed the pistol, and then bashed him in the head and knocked him out. I apologize for the outburst, but I believe he was attempting to be offensive, so I stopped him there. Naruto commented, stopping for a moment to consider why something came out of his lips. It seemed as though this universe was influencing how he spoke and acted. But I do have a point, and you're a little over your head if you think this anarchy is a good thing. Look at you, handsome Japanese guy with amazing spiky hair. I'm not in far over my head. This anarchy is amazing, and there is nothing to be concerned about. When there was an explosion and 3 of Two-Face's thugs stepped in, Harley informed him. Hey, you're on Two-Face's turf. The lead goon just requested that Naruto shoot them all in the leg. Ivy and Naruto just gave her a sneering look. Don't give me those looks, but you have a valid point. I'll take care of it. Harley quickly went to speak with all of the city's thugs and henchmen. Now, I enjoy proving Harley's point as much as the next person, and I agree that the goon was probably going to say something offensive, but who are you? Ivy inquired as she saw King Shark creeping up behind him. Someone who happened to be passing by and wanted to see what was going on. Holding up the gun, Naruto placed it right beneath King Shark's mouth. Try eating my head, and I'll put the entire clip in your skull before you can move. Oh, you're good, King Shark said as he returned to the others. And you're not very subtle. Naruto instructed him to consume a high-calorie energy snack from his backpack. But seriously, if I were you, I'd try to talk some sense into Harley before things get out of hand. Trust me, I know. Ivy said in a tired tone. Naruto wasn't sure what it was, but Ivy's demeanor reminded him of a girl he dated in high school, and he had no idea it was Poison Ivy. All he knew about Poison Ivy was that she was a beguiling temptress who exploited her beauty and special skill to her advantage. This one appeared like the kind of caustic, dry-humored college lady you meet, make friends with, and secretly want to date. So, who exactly are you? Up-and-rising villain, covert henchperson, or simply an idiot who strolled into a pair of supervillains' lair? Let's go with the wandering traveler who was curious about what was going on and thought Harley's little cart being pulled by 2 hyenas was interesting. Naruto responded. But seriously, how do you guys shower with the city in the state it's in? Do you have access to running water, or even safe drinking water? In order, it's still working, but it's cold water, yes, and slowly fading away. Ivy made a comment. You know, Ivy, if I may call you that, with Gotham the way it is, there's really nothing stopping you from using your powers to sort of rebuild the city and repair all of the ecological damage that's been done to it. I mean, that's a big part of who you are, and yet you're happy to be here. Naruto brought this up. It's on my list. Ivy's response was stumbling. That's correct. So, go ahead and eat your bird sushi. I suppose I'm done with Anarchy Town. Tell Harley that I shouted good luck and best wishes to everyone. Before leaving the mall, Naruto bowed. A well-mannered young man. Nowadays, no one has the courtesy to bow. Clayface mentioned this. Seemed to me like a know-it-all. Dr. Psycho made a comment. When Naruto exited the mall, he cracked his neck before tearing across the city, seizing every single henchperson, goon, or asshole and tied them up so they couldn't go wild. After that, he started cleaning debris and devastation, repairing buildings, and rebuilding the city at breakneck pace. Granted, he couldn't return the whole city to its pre-earthquake state, but he was able to make it 10 times better than it had been. The streets had been cleansed, the demolished buildings had been removed, and hundreds of foolish henchmen and thugs had been apprehended. He wanted to do more, but he needed to keep going to get home. Whatever happened to his planet, he prayed Batman and the League could assist. He had no idea Batman had gone AWOL or that the League had disbanded. Harley Quinn would be the one to assist Gotham, but in her own goofy and wild manner. It'd make a great cartoon. Anyway, back to attempting to figure out how to go back home. Naruto has had enough of cartoon worlds, So let's hope the next one is all real action. Part 5 has come to an end. To be continued.
That's it for the podcast and for listening to this video. I hope you did enjoy the part of the story, and if you did, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for your support, and have a great day.